Hi, this is Jack Duvall, CEO of Bantam Incorporated, a private investment office in New York. Today, I wanted to do a short video on cryptocurrencies and the state of cryptocurrency regulation. And I'm going to use a metaphor from the book Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, or popularized in the movie Blade Runner. And if you'll recall, in that story, Garland, who's a police officer, can't believe this guy Deckard, who of course is the main character played by Harrison Ford in the movie, is working for a agency that he's never heard of, using techniques he's never heard of, and going after people who aren't suspects to him. And that's basically a great metaphor for where cryptocurrency regulation stands right now. It's very dysfunctional. There's all these different regulatory agencies, and they all of course, they know about each other, but they approach the regulation by defining what is a cryptocurrency differently, and then trying to do it in a very kind of chaotic, uncoordinated way. So there is I did a blog post on this, which has some tables and charts and things, and I'll post a link to that in the notes to this video. But I just want to run through it real quickly. So the SEC has chosen to regulate cryptocurrencies under this famous Supreme Court decision called the Howey decision, which actually involved an orange grove or a citrus grove. It could have been other kinds of citrus besides oranges. But basically, this has been very problematic because under Howey, the way I read it at least, many things would qualify as a quote unquote investment contract, or a security, if you will. And if a cryptocurrency qualifies under Howey, then I think any currency qualifies under Howey, including, if you exchange US dollars for euros or things like that. Anyway, I go into much more detail on Howey on the blog post. Then there's FinCEN, which is a financial crimes enforcement network. They define cryptocurrencies as money if it's exchanged, but not legal tender. So I don't really understand that, but it's not legal tender in the sense that it's issued by a country. But if it's exchanged, then they say they're involved with it because it's money. The IRS deals with cryptocurrency as property and basically taxes any gains that you have on cryptocurrency the same way that they would on, say, stock or anything else. The U.S. Treasury Department has not defined cryptocurrency at all, but they were really upset about Libra. So I don't know where that's going to go. Libra is going to come at some point. The FTC, they just say that cryptocurrencies are digital money. That's their phrase. And then the OCC says, and that's the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, they say that cryptocurrencies are a medium of exchange and they're created and stored electronically, that's all actually true. Then those are all the U.S. agencies. Then there is, on the international front, the Financial Action Task Force, the FATF, and they're basically a FinCEN for the world. And although, of course, they don't control regulations in any countries, they promote their set of regulations, and they have 39 member countries, and those member countries pretty much put their regulations into play in various forms, not necessarily 100%, but most of them do at least some of those regulations. So you have this whole alphabet soup of entities that are regulating cryptocurrencies, but not in a kind of coherent and harmonized way. Um, the last thing I wanted to mention is that the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, just came out with essentially a kind of interpretive letter. Was kind of, you could think of it as a private letter ruling. Somebody inquired of them, and they said basically, look, national banks can custody cryptocurrencies just like they can any other currencies, and they can custody currencies along with the cryptographic keys, of course, which is how you prove ownership of those currencies. So that was a very, very big announcement because custody is the number one issue around cryptocurrencies in my mind. And of course, there's a lot of firms out there that have gone after custody and tried to design solutions. But uh, once the national banks get into this, and you can custody your cryptocurrency assets just like you can stocks or bonds or anything else, that's going to be a huge move because you're going to be able to hold your cryptos in your brokerage account at Schwab or wherever. Um, and that's going to make it much more appealing for the institutional buyers to come in. And of course, they have not really participated in the cryptocurrency market yet. Uh, the the cryptocurrencies love this news. Bitcoin and Ethereum both ramped after this news, which came out on the 22nd of July. Um, Bitcoin went up 19% after that, and Ethereum really ramped up 58%. Now, as I've written, I think that these cryptocurrencies are great investments for the long term. And as these regulatory issues get worked out and there's harmonization, it provides tremendous catalysts over the long term to take the values higher. Of course, it's going to be a volatile ride. You're probably going to see some, 50% declines along the way to maybe a 10x gain or something like that. This is actually not anything out of the ordinary. Remember, Walmart was the best stock of the 80s, and I think it declined 50% or more 3 times during the 80s, and it was the best performing stock of the decade. So it's not so unreasonable to have a long term, wildly successful investment that has some very severe drawdowns along the way. Anyway, I hope that helps clarify things, or at least clarifies the unclarified state of cryptocurrency regulation. Jack Duvall, CEO of Bantam Incorporated. Thank you for listening.